Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
What a busy day in the NFL. And the big move of the day, the Texans trade five-time Pro Bowl left tackle Laramie Tunsil to the Washington Commanders for a plethora of picks. They also re-signed defensive tackle Sheldon Rankins, signed former Dolphins receiver Braxton Berrios, and Kansas City Chiefs receiver Judson Watson, amongst other reels, while the Cowboys ended up losing cornerback Jordan Lewis, who signed with Jacksonville at 3 years, $30 million.
This is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That ball is history! A walk-off home run!
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pleasure wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pleasure. Now, here's Pledge.
What's up, Danger? Can't stop me now.
Welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pleasure. Thanks for listening, however you may be listening, whether that's on 94.1 on your FM dial, if you happen to be listening online at sasportstar.com via our AA Best Bail Bonds audio player, or if you're watching live on our YouTube feed. That's right, we stream all of our shows live via YouTube. Just go there, search at SA Sports Star, go ahead, like, subscribe. You can comment along with the show as it happens. Great community inside the YouTube chat. And don't forget, all of our shows stream live via YouTube. That is the Morning Huddle with Rob and AJ, and the Blitz with Jason and Joe every day of every week right here on San Antonio Sports Star via our YouTube channel. So just go ahead, like, subscribe, and be sure to comment along. We love it when you do. Is free agency's a blast. The draft's a blast. Free agency's a blast. And this time of year, things get crazy, and it got crazy earlier today as the Blitz was talking about Micah Parsons and the Laramie Tunsil thing happens, and with Micah Parsons and what happened with Myles Garrett over the weekend, and trying to figure out what the next step for the Houston Texans is with Laramie Tunsil. It has been quite the day of what do you do and what's next for both of our teams in Texas?
So much going on in the NFL today. And we'll go through a complete rundown. During the break, all the talk was about the Laramie Tunsil trade. Texans fans, you've lost another offensive lineman. Laramie Tunsil gone. And the value of the trade compensation is for next year's draft, a second and a fourth next year. You do get a third rounder, Texans fans, this year, but you're also sending a fourth with Laramie Tunsil to Washington. And I haven't seen yet if that fourth is this year or next year. It is this year. So you got rid of Laramie Tunsil in this year's fourth for a third this year, a second, and a fourth next year.
Well, you're dumping some salary there too. And, that offensive line was horrible. You might as well start over when it comes to that, or at least for the most part, if you're Houston. But I saw something that I didn't even think about. Is this part of Houston, I don't know, maybe shedding some excess salary to sign some guy by the name of, I don't know, C.J. Stroud coming up here in the next year or so?
Eventually, I'm sure that's going to factor in. And you just have to, all of it, because, C.J. Pledge is quick to point out, and Will Anderson. Both those guys are going to have to get paid. And maybe it's Nick Caserio saying, I love you, man, but not at that price. And your performance level and your penalties hurt us more than anything. And our offensive line was awful last year, and maybe they just need a complete retooling of that offensive line. But that is a shocking move on its own. So when I look at what the Texans are doing, I can't wait to see what the next move is, where you're going to go, all right, that's why they did that. Because there's got to be.
No, there has to be something, right? It's going to be interesting to see, and that give you a pretty good idea of where the Texans are going in the draft. I think they're going to focus on that offensive line. They have to to try and retool that thing. Will they go out and try to find somebody else in free agency that can come in? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see, but it gives you an indication of what some teams are going to be doing. I tell you, the activity that we've seen yesterday and even today is just, it's mind blowing. The money that's being thrown around, the trades that are being made, the signings that are being made. What's fascinating, a lot of fun for us, but it just seems like, and again, maybe I say this every year, but it just seems like an overabundance of activity in the NFL.
Well, and again, Tom Pelissero reporting right now, the Packers are signing former Raiders corner Nate Hobbs, 4 years, $48 million, but only 16 of that guaranteed. I mean, that seems like, all right, 4 years, 48, 16 guaranteed. But, that's big money for somebody that the Raiders thought that they were going to be able to keep. And, you start looking ahead, okay, now 4 years, 48 million when Bland is up next year. Is that going to be the neighborhood that he's going to be looking in? Although 16 million guaranteed, you would think that number would be a lot higher in guaranteed dollars. But, the Packers doing everything they can to keep up with what's going on in their division.
Yeah, I mean, they have to. I think teams have to do that. I mean, you see Washington again, wherever you think about Tunsil, Washington needed an upgrade on that offensive line. They're hoping that they can get it. Maybe Tunsil was just, I don't know, she wasn't a fit in Houston. It'll be a better fit in Washington. We'll see. But what they've done, the Cowboys might want to think about doing some of the same thing, like keeping up with the Joneses.
Well, it's the Cowboys, right? And I think we all knew they weren't going to be big players on a day like today. They're going to do the deals like they've done. C.J. Goodwin, 1-year deal. Their long snapper, he's back. Marquise Bell on a 3-year deal worth up to $12 million. It's 3 years, $9 million with incentives. He can get an extra 3. Jordan Lewis is gone. It's kind of what you expect from the Cowboys, especially until they announce whatever their plans are for Micah Parsons. Now, if we see a Micah Parsons deal in the next 24 hours, maybe, but you're not even here. You're hearing rumors involving the Cowboys and 2 players that seem affordable. Then you see this on Twitter and you go, yeah. 2015 was the last time the Cowboys signed a free agent from another team worth over $6 million a year, and that player was Greg Hardy. Their last really, 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 really big free agent signing was old Brandon Carr when that stadium was brand new there in Arlington. Think about that.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
So the Cowboys aren't doing anything out of their norm. Take care of small, easy stuff on their end, guys that they want to keep. I think they did want to keep Jordan Lewis, but 3 years, $30 million, which is what he got from Jacksonville. I'm not surprised when I see those numbers that he did not re-sign with the Cowboys, when that's almost double what the perceived value of Jordan Lewis was a week ago, when you were seeing all the different stories about projected salaries for certain players. He was in the $5 to $6 million a year range. So 3 years, 15, 3 years, 20, you could almost see that for the Cowboys. But if he comes in with 3 years, $30 million from Jacksonville, the dude, man, hell of a run, man. Go get it while you can.
He's going, and we'll see what happens with him in Jacksonville. They've got some rebuilding to do, that's for sure. Again, it's early. I'm not going to let my head explode just yet when it comes to the Cowboys, but I will point out, which I've done many times on this show, doing the same thing you've done over and over and over again is not producing what you want. So you might, I don't know, call me nuts. You might want to think about doing something different for a change, because what you're doing ain't working.
True. I mean, but here's the thing. Knowing what you're paying your quarterback and your receiver, and you have held all this money back for Micah Parsons. And you've been telling us for 2 years, Stephen, Jerry, that your intent is to sign Micah Parsons. So you've done all this planning. You were so frugal last year, knowing that you are going to pay Micah Parsons. So with all this planning, why is that deal not done yet? Unless it's Micah Parsons as the holdup. But publicly, I don't know that Micah Parsons is being the holdup based on everything that he has said. Now, his agent, David Mulligetta, might be a bit of a holdup, but this isn't a surprise that Micah Parsons is going to be at the top of the non-quarterback market. And you've been telling us for a year, more than a year, that your intent is to sign those three guys. So waiting does nothing but handcuff you. You don't have to be handcuffed. If you're the Cowboys, you're doing it to yourself, and it's ultimately going to cost you more money. You saw the market's already changed from 30s to now 40. And if a couple of these other guys sign, Micah's price continues to go up. So again, you talk about doing things the same way. Do a deal early. I mean, the last time you did a deal early was Diggs, and you were celebrated for that. Now, hasn't worked because Diggs got hurt and is still hurt, but at least you did that deal early. But at the same time, it can work. And then you could go comfortably know where you're going to be with some of these other guys that you might be in competition for.
Well, I'd really like to know what's happening behind the scenes, though, because look, if you're Micah Parsons, and look, Micah Parsons, the Dallas Cowboys, nobody in the league could have guessed what was going to happen in Cleveland. I don't think that surprises everybody that Myles Garrett is now the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL at $40 million a year. I don't think anybody saw that coming. So that's hard to predict. So, I mean, that goes to anybody. And you saw Micah Parsons' tweet with the WTF. I mean, nobody saw that coming. And I don't think you could prepare for that. So taking up for Jerry a little bit there. But again, I just wonder, because Jamar Chase is still out there. Is Micah going to maybe want to wait and see what happens with Jamar Chase? I don't think a Trey Hendrickson is going to change the market because I don't think he's going to get paid that. I don't think he is. Maybe he will. But, I mean, if you're Micah, you're in no hurry to sign this thing. And so I don't know if Jerry and Steven have presented Micah with a deal yet or not, anything at all. I'm sure there's been numbers discussed. But if you're Micah and his representative, you're in absolutely no hurry to sign a deal.
No, and again, when you look at some of the deals, and there's been some surprising deals signed by guys, and you go, wow, how much? At least we're not seeing the Cowboys signing a guy and overpaying, which, again, not typical Cowboys. You're not seeing it from the Texans, but, some of these deals you kind of look at and you go, man, that's a lot of money for that guy. Jordan Lewis might be that guy. I mean, Jordan Lewis, how right now is supposed to be all tier 1 guys. Is Jordan Lewis a tier 1 guy? I mean, now granted, Trayvon Moore got a 3-year, $51 million deal. He's a safety with the Panthers. That's tier 1 money for a guy that I don't know that I would put in as tier 1. He's been good, but has he been that good for the Raiders? You know what I mean?
No.
You look at the money Chuma Edoga signed for. That's big-time starter money for a guy who's a career backup in Dallas.
Did you see something there? I didn't see the numbers on Chuma. I haven't seen that. But he probably projected to be a starter. I will say, look, Tyler Guyton, Chuma was starting in place of Tyler a lot toward the end of the season.
Yep.
And so there's a reason he was better than Tyler Guyton at least last year at that point in time. And Guyton's gotten off to a slow start. Hopefully he's not another Mozzie Smith. But, we'll see. And hopefully he'll be better this year. But I think Chuma Edoga is a starting offensive lineman in the NFL. The Cowboys just had a number 1 pick in front of him that they weren't going to let somebody else start. But toward the end of the season, Edoga was. And I think partly because of that, got him a deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah. It's interesting. Interesting what's going on today in free agency and with trades. Still trying to figure out the Laramie Tunsil trade. To me, that's the bigger surprise. 1, the compensation, but 2, what's the next move for Nick Caserio?
What is the next move for Nick Caserio? And it's very interesting because this move does a lot of things for them. Okay. They're going to have to pay CJ. They're going to have to pay Will. They're going to have to pay. And we just saw the cornerback market reset this morning with J.C. Horn. Derek Stingley's going to beat that. Now, whether he gets done first or Sauce Gardner, but that tag's going to keep going up for cornerbacks. So that's another person you've got to pay. Laremy Tunsil's getting into the portion of his contract where he likes to renegotiate for the next top of the market deal. He's done it he did it when he was traded to Houston, again under Bill O'Brien, and then with Nick Caserio once. And he's about a year away from asking for a brand new contract that will make him the highest paid left tackle in football yet again. And he's done it very well on these short 2 and 3 year deals. So you're freeing up $14 million by trading him this year and 23 or 4 million next year. Knowing these contracts are coming down the pipe at you, you've got to start planning for them. And if your offensive line is horrendous, why are you investing so much in one? And from what it sounds like, from what I've heard through people around the organization, is Tunsil's a great guy. His teammates love him, but he is also about him. He is a better pass protector than run blocker. He's not as willing to get down and dirty when it comes to running the football. And he knows his side of the ball in terms of where his pass stats are measured. So help may not always be the priority on the offensive line from him. Things I've heard, and if that doesn't sound like it fits the culture of what DeMeco Ryans is trying to instill in Houston. So moving on from him, getting a boatload of picks, getting younger and cheaper at the position makes a lot of sense in a way. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, SASportsStar.com. When we come back, you heard him talking about Micah Parsons. How does Myles Garrett's deal truly affect him, and what will the ramifications be for Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys, if any? Morning Huddle was talking about it earlier this morning. We'll get into that when we continue here on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Calling all flag football fans, HEB and the Dallas Cowboys are hosting the first annual Dallas Cowboys Flag Football Classic presented by HEB. On March 16th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., head to the Star Soccer Complex in San Antonio to watch local youth flag football teams take the field, hang with Rowdy at the Dallas Cowboys Hall of Fame trailer, and more. For more details, visit DallasCowboys.com/HEB flag today.
The Blitz is going to Vegas. Come along for an unforgettable Mega March weekend at Circa Las Vegas, March 27th through the 30th for opening day and the second weekend of the tournament. Thursday, March 27th, celebrate the start of the baseball season and watch all the games at the world's largest sportsbook, plus the ultimate March Hoops experience. Take in the action in the 6 pools and the 143-foot screen at Stadium Swim. Book now and use promo code BLITZ at circalasvegas.com and join Jason and Joe at Circa Resort and Casino.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Progressive knows when you own a boat or RV, it's like you're automatically on vacation, even if you're actually a marriage counselor in the middle of couples therapy. But in your mind, you're camping in Acadia, puttering around Frenchman Bay. Your boat and RV are both protected. You're lobster drenched in butter and... Uh-oh, did your clients just notice you weren't listening? Quick, do the thing where you just repeat back exactly what they said, but as a question. They bought it. Now back to Maine, earning an automatic discount bundling your boat or RV with your home or auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project. His wife got a new job, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's top researcher is deviating to a new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's going to finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator. Roll with the sausage breakfast burrito. Buddy it up with a honey buddy. Or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes. And then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
With basketball season in full swing, make watching the game a little bit more exciting with your chance to win money with Underdog, one of the leading sports apps, and you can play in Texas. You can win up to 1,000 times your money with Underdog, playing the pick'em game where you pick higher or lower on predicted stats. You can play with as little as $1, and if you get everything right on your pick'em entry, you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Yep, turn $1 into 1,000 with your hoops knowledge. Download the Underdog app and sign up using my promo code STAR to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona and Massachusetts, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Jason Minix here from The Blitz. That's exactly what I did. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home and make price-boosting upgrades. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home evaluation. That's Orchard.com.
It's Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
That's right. Breaking Cowboys news. Dallas Cowboys actually did something on the first day of free agency. They signed running back Javonte Williams of the Denver Broncos, 1 year, $3 million. And that's impressive to me. I look at a guy who had an injury shorten his career. Not a lot of tread on the tires, 606 total rushes during his time with the 4 years of the Denver Broncos, 2,300 yards. His rookie year ran for 900 yards on average 4.4 a carry. And the year after that, 4.3 before the injury, started working his way back. Got closer to a return to form this year. But they had invested at the position and started, transitioning away. So he is a low risk, high reward potential when you talk about a Javonte Williams, because he was a high draft pick. Very coveted coming out of North Carolina. And that is it. If we're going to take them at their words, which we love to do all the time. Stephen Jones, you're right. That is.
We're going to be selectively aggressive.
Javonte Williams is that, because you get a player with a very high upside at probably half the cost of a Rico Dowdle. Now, Rico ran for 1,000 yards this year. Rico's coming off his best season in the NFL. But Rico Dowdle doesn't project to be what Javonte Williams has been projected to be in the NFL. Rico Dowdle may be at his ceiling as an NFL player, and he may be trying to capitalize on that. And good for Rico. You need to strike while the iron's hot, especially when you're a running back. But Javonte Williams, that could be a low-key, very sneaky good signing for the Dallas Cowboys and shows at least Cowboy fans, hey, they are being active. I mean, look at the Texans. They're being active. They're not fishing at the top of the pool. They're in the shallow end. But I love the additions of a Justin Watson. I really liked him in Kansas City the last few years and was happy when for my buddy when they re-signed him this past offseason. Now he's coming to Houston, and I got a chance to cheer for him on my own team. He's tall, 6'3", 220, provides a nice big target that allows a guy like Christian Kirk to stay in the slot where he actually thrives. Goldfinger123 says, depends on what type of O-line Dallas builds next season. You act like Dallas's offensive line was bad. And I know there were questions and issues about it coming into the year. Houston's offensive line was bad. Dallas's offensive line was not bad. They had a 1,000-yard rusher. And if you remember, as the season progressed, their offensive line got better. Cooper Beebe got better. When Zach Martin went down for the year, the line got better with TJ Bass and Brock Hoffman and Chuma Adoga. When Terrence Steele went down and Guyton had to come back in, he played better. Yes, you had two rookies on that offensive line. One of them was a key left tackle position. There was going to be some growing pains early. But I think you're letting your first thought of what those people were cloud your judgment on who they turned into throughout the year. It's a lot like a lot of people saying Aaron Rodgers is washed because you remember the Jets were awful this year. He was playing good at the end of the last year. He was on a bad team, but Aaron himself was playing good. You got to think about things as they are, not how you perceive them. And once Zach Martin went down and Brock Hoffman came in, that offensive line solidified. They got a real one in Cooper Beebe. And let's not forget, their new offensive coordinator was the offensive line coach of the Arizona Cardinals, who have one of the better run games in the NFL. Brian Schottenheimer has said, we want to run the football and play action off of it. So guess what? They have fully committed to it with their coaching decisions. I think they could be a lot better this year. I think they're closer to what they were to close the season last year than what they were when they started the season at the beginning of the year. Crazy to say with rookies that they got better as the season went on and they gained NFL experience. I know. "109er says Dowdle rushed for 1,000 yards on 235 carries. Yeah. And in half the carries, Williams ran for half the yardage, and he's going to cost half the money. So you bump that up to 235 carries. It's a good chance Williams also runs for 1,000 yards last season. It's all subjective, right? Stats are great, but stats are also subjective. They are hard numbers, but it is subjective, and how, like, Saquon Barkley's numbers in Philly aren't going to be the same as they would have been in New York. Playing for a better offensive line, playing with a better quarterback, playing with a better complement of weapons that lets him see, less loaded boxes a lot of the times. Yeah, it was a 1 year, $3 million deal. Reports are Rico Dowdle's looking for $6 million a year, probably for multiple years. So you're locked into a lot more money with Rico Dowdle than you would be with the Javonte Williams. And it doesn't prevent you from addressing that position in the draft either. And letting a young guy come up behind him, potentially taking his job at some point, or just giving him a really, really good compliment. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. When we come back, Morning Huddle was talking about Myles Garrett's deal and what it means for Micah Parsons. How imperative is this for the Dallas Cowboys to get this done? Or does Myles Garrett's deal mean anything to Micah Parsons? We'll discuss coming up next right here on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 FM, San Antonio Sports Star.
At the Institute for Functional Health, we are dedicated to helping you live life fully, playing with your kids, golfing, and feeling great without relying on pills. We're not about treating symptoms temporarily. We're about extending your health span, the years you live in good health. I'm Dr. Torres, and for over a decade, my team has transformed lives by tackling health issues at the root. Tired of medications without real answers? Take control of your health with us. Call 210-468-1891 for a free Discovery Day consultation or visit iffhealth.com. Improve your health span today.
At Round Table Pizza, our signature ingredients like made-from-scratch dough, our 3-cheese blend, and toppings all the way to the edge create your perfect pizza. Try our new pepperoni, grilled chicken, and bacon pizza, available for a limited time. You can enjoy a large for only $19.99 at participating locations. Plus, pair your pizza with our irresistible shareables. To find your nearest location or to order for pickup or delivery, head to roundtablepizza.com. That's roundtablepizza.com.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
This is the story of the one. He's responsible for keeping a leading healthcare facility clean and safe. And he trusts Grainger's high-quality HVAC cleaning and safety products, combined with their world-class supply chain, to consistently deliver, ensuring he's covered inside and out, so he can focus on keeping his facility clean to help protect the health of everyone inside. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, huh?
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online, no medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/sports. Ethos.com/sports.
Sample Rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
In Texas, your spouse can claim alimony after just 10 years of marriage. Do you know your countdown? Because I guarantee you, she does. I'm Gary Barton with Barton & Associates. If you're considering divorce, then contact Barton & Associates today at texasdivorce.com. That's texasdivorce.com.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a quality technician in a food processing center, she knows that making the right call is the best way to avoid a recall. That's why she trusts Grainger's world-class supply chain to deliver the high-quality supplies she needs to help keep her production line, her equipment, and her customers happy and healthy. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Guys, if you ever spend time on social media, you'll often find yourself just being hit with bad news and worse comments, and you'll see how everybody's life is so picture perfect, and they've got this great job promotion, and you're wondering, man, where am I? It's hard not to get wrapped up in how everyone else is doing. Imagine how you'd feel if you just spent 45 minutes focused on how you're doing. That's what they're about at Cerebral. They make it easier than ever to access dedicated therapists and doctor-prescribed medication personalized to you. And the best part, Cerebral offers in-network care so you can focus on feeling better without worrying about the cost. If you're dealing with stress, anxiety, you want to be more present and focused, you want to sleep better, you want to have better relationships, you've got to work on yourself. Cerebral is proud to be an official sponsor of the San Antonio Spurs. Just like athletes prioritize their physical health, mental health is just as important, and Cerebral's here to help you build a strong foundation for your overall being. So take the first step today. Visit Cerebral.com to see how affordable and accessible mental health care can be with insurance. Cerebral, make time for mind time. This is AJ Hoffman from the Morning Huddle. Join me and Rob Thompson tomorrow morning at 6 for the perfect ride to work on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Thanks, AJ. That's right. Be sure to check out him and Rob tomorrow morning, every morning, actually. Because Morning Huddle gets you going, 6 to 10, every morning, right here on San Antonio Sports Star. As a matter of fact, they got me going this morning as they were discussing Myles Garrett's monster record-breaking deal over the weekend and what it meant for one certain Dallas Cowboy by the name of Micah Parsons.
But here we sit as Micah. I do believe, AJ, then the next 36 hours, if something doesn't happen now.
What's going to happen? Nothing?
Well, he's not going to
happen.
Well, something's going to happen with somebody else. I mean, the money is going to get spent. It's either going to get spent on Micah or it's going to get spent on somebody else in the next 5 to 7 days. I mean, the money is going to get spent. Free agency is going to begin. This is why you have the money. They're either going to dive in first and wait for what's left or wait for what's left. One or the other. And diving in first would be signing your own. But if they don't and they're signing elsewhere, I don't think Micah's back, or at least franchise tag is imminent. Oh, it's too late for that. He's done.
I think we are now looking at 125 million is the number.
I think 120. I don't know. By Micah's statement, he doesn't have to be the most. I just think he needs to be loved, and he's going to have to be the most of something.
He's going to be the most. And like you said, it's one thing for you to say it, but your agents behind the scenes are saying, like,
what are you talking about? My job is to extract as much money as possible under the best circumstances for you. And if I'm doing anything less than that, unless you specifically tell me not to, I'm actually committing a bit of malpractice. There's a fiduciary responsibility for me to go get as much as possible and keep you happy.
And then you have to ask the question, because we just asked it about the Cleveland Browns. Is paying Micah in the best interest of the Dallas Cowboys?
I think it's different for the Cowboys than for Cleveland.
Well, the Cowboys weren't 3-14.
Yeah,
like, you're right.
But it's not that different. It's kind of different, but in the grand circumstances, they're both dealing with quarterback contracts that are, quite frankly, just about impossible to get out from underneath. They both have both of these guys, quite frankly, deserve every penny they're going to get. They truly are at that upper echelon, and both of them are below our average football teams. The difference being Jerry is probably closer than Cleveland, or the Cowboys are probably closer than Cleveland to being some kind of contender. And it's not because of talent, it's about locale.
Yeah.
Cleveland's got to fight through Baltimore and Buffalo and Pittsburgh and Cincinnati.
Yeah.
They got so much to deal with that the Cowboys luckily only have to deal with the Super Bowl champions. I mean, that sounds crazy, but it's true that I think the Cowboys probably have an easier road to get better than Cleveland. And that's probably the worst situation to find Jerry, because he's going to try to keep the status quo to prove to his own ego that he was always right.
I was reading a story about guys that, and it's funny, guys that we haven't really considered, because we've been talking about, well, how are the Cowboys going to fill all the holes that they've got? I didn't really consider that some of the guys that are under contract right now, they might be gone too. And there was a list of guys who've got basically no more guaranteed money that it'd be real easy to move on from them. Terrence Steele, the Cowboys could save $13.25 million in 25 salary cap if they cut him.
Yeah, but you have to have a viable replacement.
I mean, you're right, but you've got a bunch of spots to fill. So, like, I mean, how do you do it? Trayvon Diggs, you could save $10 million getting rid of Trayvon Diggs. And again, how do you replace him? I don't know. But the thing about having guys like that is eventually you're going to have to pay him again. And then what do you do?
Well, hopefully you don't have to pay him nearly as much as you did the first time.
Donovan Wilson.
Well, Donovan's gone. I can guarantee Donovan Wilson will not be a Cowboy.
That's $7 million.
That's a done one, yeah.
Malik Hooker.
That's a good question.
5.75.
That's about the defense. I don't know how things are going to play out, but I have a sense he's probably gone too.
Jalen Turner.
And that's a good one.
Jalen Turner. Jalen Tolbert.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
3.4.
about. I thought he should have been gone last year. So we'll see if any of the Jalens survive this change.
Damon Clark. 3.4.
Well, Damon Clark, I like Damon. I think that's a guy you pay.
Well, and who knows? I guess you've got a new coaching staff. Who knows what the defense is going to look like?
I agree with you. A lot of these guys, especially those kind of fringe starters that have gotten minutes and time because of injuries that have actually played okay, that contracts are coming up. Yeah, they're not going to be able to keep them because they put good film down. All those guys.
And some of these guys, like Terrence Steele, the Cowboys just made a bad decision on Terrence Steele.
He earned it, though. I'm not mad at the decision. He, undrafted free agent, steps into the void and plays extraordinary for a year and a half. And he just has never – and he got hurt, and they took care of him while he was hurt. And we've never looked at him the same since.
We've never looked at him the same because he's not the same.
Right.
He's now a below league average caliber starter.
When they paid him, it seemed appropriate at the time. Nobody was upset for the money they paid Steele at the time. Now, he hasn't lived up to it, and that's just football. But
that's what I'm saying. Now you can get rid of him without a punishment.
He isn't. The thing is, a fully functioning Terrence Steele is a pretty good right tackle. I mean, we know that it was there, but we haven't seen a healthy one in so long. I don't know if it's worth waiting.
That sounds like, a fully functional Zeke Elliott is.
But again, we're talking. Well, you're right. But how many holes on this line do you want to fill? And do you want to create another one?
Well, I mean, he's already a hole.
Well, not really. I mean, at least he's a known quantity. We know he is capable. I agree that he's
below
not
replacement level player.
But there's worse. There are worse guys on that line than him.
Yeah. Yeah, they've just there's a whole, and this is why the decision on Micah is so interesting.
The wise move is to let him go, but that sometimes the wise move is not the best move for you and the short-term needs of this team. But the wise move is obviously you let the guy go and start building in the appropriate places. That's what a smart football team would do. That's one with a long-term vision and a true understanding of their current talent and situation they find themselves. What they would do is let him go, trade him, find a way to bring some cheap talent back, and go again. It wouldn't be the first time a defensive lineman has been moved for that very reason. But that's not what is good for Jerry today.
Yeah, think about if they wouldn't have given Dak that money. Everything would be so different right now. I mean, we'd be going, well, who the hell's going to play quarterback next year? But
at least they'd be looking in the draft. They'd
be
free agent money.
You'd have so much wiggle room, so much maneuvering you could do. It's like, I don't know. This whole thing is just it's spiraled into like a mess that really can't be fixed.
Sure, yeah. If you didn't have Dak, then you could be like everybody else. You could be like the Seattle Seahawks throwing a bunch of money at Sam Darnold, or the Steelers potentially trying to see what Aaron Rodgers have left, or you could be throwing a bunch of money at Justin Fields. Any of these doing it for you, Cowboy fans? Look, I know he's not the best quarterback in the NFL, but until you have the guy in place to replace him, you kind of had to do what you had to do. There's not a lot in this draft. There are actually a handful of quarterbacks at best that I think may, in the right circumstances, become viable NFL quarterbacks. But rarely do players get drafted into viable situations. when you're in need of a quarterback. So what's the best thing? Help your quarterback. Help Dak Prescott. Javonte Williams is a good step to that, in my opinion. You added him. Getting rid of Micah Parsons, while I know it's the cliche thing to do, what's the realistic thing on that? What's your realistic expectation on what you can have in return? Because realistically, the Seahawks thought they could get back a first and a third for DK Metcalf and ended up settling for a second. Because they know the team acquiring him also has to pay him 3 years, $150 million. Teams aren't going to want to give up premium draft assets and top of the market money, which is what you're giving Micah Parsons if you trade for him. Now, top of the market may be 35.5 plus, and people may look at what they did with Myles Garrett in Cleveland the same way they looked at what they did with Deshaun Watson and said, that's Cleveland being stupid. We, the rest of the NFL, are not about to do that. And maybe that's where they draw their line. And that is possible to see that number just being Cleveland was desperate the same way they were with Deshaun Watson, and no other NFL teams willing to cross that threshold. And we saw it with Lamar Jackson when he was trying to get his deal. No one was willing to cross that threshold, and nobody has still crossed that threshold when it comes to Deshaun Watson and a fully guaranteed deal. Now, the money has surpassed Deshaun Watson's average annual value. And maybe that's, what they did with it. It's 204, but it's 123 guaranteed. So, maybe they can make him the highest guaranteed player while still not going up over $40 million a year. And that is a distinct possibility, in my opinion. What say you? 210-656-3776, 656-ESPN, if you want to be a part of the conversation. Here on Extra Innings with Pledge, we'll take your phone calls and get ready to close out the show. What do you think of the Cowboys actually adding on the first day of free agency? Texans trading away Laramie Tunsil. And speaking of not getting the compensation you would think in return, remember the Texans gave up 2 firsts and a second and a third for Laramie Tunsil initially. They got back a third this year and a seventh, and a second and a fourth next year, and also had to give up their fourth this year. So if you trade a Micah Parsons, that return's not going to be what everybody thinks it's going to be because of the amount of money that the team acquiring him is probably about to pay. Because I'll guarantee you this, any team that's acquiring him that can do both of those things, probably not in a great situation. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 FM and SASportsStar.com.
GimmeTheVin.com, big cash giveaway. We're going to take all the cars that we buy and we're going to add $25,000 additional in the month of March. It might be $1,000 car. It might be $100,000 car, but you're going to get $25,000 more dollars if you're the winner. You can't afford not to shop us. Sell us your car. GimmeTheVin.com.
No purchase necessary. For official rules, go to GimmeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GimmeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Lowe's knows that your business is built on speed and trust. That's why the Lowe's Pro Desk is here to get you what you need the moment you need it. We'll help you plan your project, calculate your materials, and pivot when your job takes an unexpected turn. And with our pro-only checkout and dedicated pro parking, you have what you need to tackle your job and be back on the job in no time. Just visit us at the Pro Desk. Lowe's knows pros. We help. You save.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-334-2266. That's 800-334-2266. 800-334-2266.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
I'm at a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love. And love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
T-Mobile home internet, it's all about speed, value.
What you doing, Zach?
First thing, there are so many benefits. You got to talk fast.
T-Mobile home internet ranks #1 in customer satisfaction for home wireless internet by J.D. Power.
Wow, you are good.
Try singing it. T-Mobile has price lock.
They won't raise your rate on internet.
Hulu and Paramount Plus on there.
Get T-Mobile home internet all in for just $55 a month with auto pay and any postpaid voice line.
Additional terms apply. For JD Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Divorce is a fight. If you don't want to get knocked out of the ring by your spouse, then you need an aggressive law firm with a stable of hard-hitting attorneys at your disposal. Contact Barton & Associates today. Visit texasdivorce.com. That's texasdivorce.com.
Wow! Most cars and trucks can get premium ceramic window film installed by the experts at Mother's Window Tint, starting at just $199. Don't wait. Protect your ride today. Our competitors charge hundreds more, but at Mother's, you get the best quality and value. Call now or visit motherswindowtint.com to schedule your installation. With up to 60 different film options, we've got the perfect fit for every car and budget. Stop by one of our locations and see the difference for yourself. Want to boost your vehicle's security? We've got you covered with advanced systems starting at just $399. Call 210-213-2118 today and ask about our alarm specials. Since 1984, we've been the home of the tint and alarm special. Don't wait. Visit Mother's Window Tint today. Call now or go online to book your service. Your car deserves it. Mother's Window Tint. Since 1984. Call or visit motherswindowtint.com. That's motherswindowtint.com. And remember, do it at Mother's and save.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. Welcome back into the show, and I said your phone call is coming up, and I always mean that when I say it. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Sam's asking me if the Texans will be able to keep Stroud and Anderson past their rookie deals. Yes, that's part of the reason they let go of Laramie Tunsil. They didn't want to pay him top of the market money continually, knowing that they had Derek Stingley Jr. this offseason and Stroud and Anderson next offseason. That is a lot of what I think the Laramie Tunsil thing was about. You get some draft picks in return, and you try and fill out the roster with younger, cheaper talent to build around CJ Stroud. Now you're weakening a place that was already weak in doing so, but why are you paying that much money if the offensive line is that awful in the first place? So there are a lot of thought processes that go into that, Sam. Glad you brought that up. Fred, my favorite Commanders fan, one of my favorite Commanders fans. I know we got a lot of them here with Jay Glenn, Frank Mateo, but Fred is the one that loves to call into the blitz and just really turn the knife into Jason Minix.
Oh, okay. I am your favorite, #1 fan. Let's correct that. Start off with that. James Pledger.
What's happening, Fred, man? How you doing?
We got some We got some Texans Commanders trades.
We do.
Let's talk who won the trade. Who do you think won the trade?
It depends what you wanted out of it. If you're the Texans, I think they won it in terms of what their goal was, which to not have to pay Laramie Tunsil money anymore, and also try and find younger, cheaper draft in terms of replacement, in terms of his value. The Texans won it in that sense. The Commanders won it in the sense of they wanted to protect their rookie asset in Jaden Daniels. They were weak on the line last year on both lines. And they are adding strength to that. And Laramie Tunsil is still one of the best pass protectors in the NFL. Hands down, full stop, end of statement. He is second in the league in terms of pressure rate allowed against. And that's extremely low. He does his job as good or better than anybody in the NFL. And the Washington Commanders have fully embraced we are in a win now window with Jaden Daniels, and they're trying to capitalize on it.
Absolutely. You hear that, Minix? What are the Cowboys doing?
Well, they're being selectively aggressive.
Snapper.
Selectively aggressive.
Yeah. No, I agree. They don't grow linemen on trees. No. How old is he? I don't even know how old he is.
Laramie Tunsil, I believe, is 30, but I will double check that for you.
That's still prime. You got Trent Williams still doing it at a high level. You
offensive linemen can play forever.
They can play just like Joe Ryan could still do his hair.
Laramie Tunsil is 34 years old.
34?
Or no, 30. He was born in 94.
Got it. That's not bad. Not bad. I feel his best days are a little behind him, but we can squeeze some juice out of him.
Oh, there's still plenty of juice left in that tank.
Some juice out of him, and I'll take it. It's a good win.
He will be one of the best pass protecting offensive tackles in all of the NFC next year. You can go ahead and book that. Just don't expect a whole lot of effort in the run game.
That's fine. I'm fine with that. We let Jaden can do whatever he wants back there. We just need another weapon. Even at that, I'm not a Debo hater, but I'm not a Debo lover. It's a nice little pickup we got. It's a nice little toy for Cliff. But let's see how that goes. That's one thing. I know Adam Peters, general manager, has been pretty aggressive. So
he has been extremely aggressive.
Yeah, I love it. It reminds me of Howie.
You should.
How you loving the Texans all season so far?
I was good. In terms of what Steven just said, selectively aggressive, they've done that. The Texans, they bring back Sheldon Rankins, who played really well last year for them before signing that free agent deal in Cincinnati. So bringing him back, I think he works well in D'Amico's defense. Bringing back Derek Barnett is another big piece. Traymon Smith. I like the Justin Watson addition from Kansas City. I really didn't think he was utilized enough there. Big-bodied, 6'4", big receiver out on the perimeter that allows you to put Christian Kirk inside. And one of my favorite signings, Bears pass rusher Darrell Taylor there's a lot to like about him. He was one of the fourth highest pass rush win rates in the NFL this past season. It's one of those. D'Amico loves to rotate his linemen and keep them fresh and send them in waves. And he fits that mold of limited snaps, high success rate. And I think he's going to thrive with D'Amico.
Good. So you're saying the Texans are winning the division this year?
I think it's a pretty safe bet with what the other teams in the division look like right now.
Oh, absolutely. I wish I was in that division. I really do.
There are a lot of teams wish they were in that. The Raiders wish they were in this division.
Who is someone this offseason, or what's the most shocking signing you've seen so far from your perspective?
Signing
trade. What's the biggest?
Well, I thought
head scratcher.
Tunsil completely caught me off guard because I wasn't expecting it, because the shell of what's left of that offensive line is not great, especially when you deal away the best piece of it. So I'm going to be very intrigued as to see kind of how things fall out from there. Other than that, I think Myles Garrett's deal shocked me in terms of I want out. Here's $40 million. All right, I'm happy.
Money moves mountains.
It was about money until it wasn't.
Money moves
or it was
mountains.
about winning until it wasn't.
Everybody has a price.
Exactly, man. I appreciate the phone call, my brother. It was always great hearing from you, Fred.
Absolutely. Remember, your number one favorite
Commanders fan
from now on.
You got it, Fred. Welcome back anytime. Help you. Fred, that was fun. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said about what's coming up this offseason, but it's going to be a wild ride, and be sure to tune in tomorrow morning to Rob and AJ starting at 6 a.m, as they will keep you up to date as to what happens overnight. And then, of course, what happens throughout the day. The Blitz and I will keep you apprised as to what's happening there. This has been Extra Innings with Pleasure. Call your loved ones, check on them, let them know you're thinking about them, because you never know what they're going through in life. And a simple, hey, how you doing, can change someone's life. This has been Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1.
Davis Law Firm secures important verdicts and settlements for Texans hurt in a car, truck, or 18-wheeler wreck. Many in the millions of